This circle of love, in this circle of peace, in this circle of love, in this circle of peace. And it goes, I feel our unity, love, sweet security. I feel our unity, love, sweet security. Circle of love, circle of peace,
Remain standing with me, if you will, as we invoke our sacred space together. Our divine creator, you who we dare to call our friend and our guide, lover of our souls. Today, from the power of our memory and our history, and with high hopes for the days ahead, we are gathered to craft the destiny we share with one another. We thank you for your faithfulness to us. We thank you for carrying us through so many things in our lives. And we thank you for carrying this Unity community through many, many years onto this day. And we gather with faith in the practice of deep democracy with one another. We gather with hearts and minds open to the wisdom and the voices of everyone amongst us. In our gathering today, may we dream and design a bold future. May we bring our best selves to the service. And may we dream these dreams and do this work with great love. For we've come to know here that all there is love. All there is love. Breathe that in, breathe that truth in, and know it to be true in every cell of your being. All there is love. If there are any blockages to that love, all we have to do is release and let them go. Release and surrender. And Spirit will flow us into that love river again. Let's breathe and feel our unity. And remain standing for another song. I just want to say that today we're so blessed to have a lot of our musicians with us. We've got Heather and David and Cerise and Donna and Jane and of course Richard is our mainstay, but we're so blessed to have many of our musicians today, so we invite all of them to participate in the song.
And many of you know this. This is I Release and I Let Go, the chorus of this song by Ricky Byers and Michael Beckwith. So once we get going, please sing along and move with it if you wish to.
No more struggle.
energy after the service. We're having today, because it's our special celebration Sunday, we're having a potluck afterwards. And even if you didn't bring anything, you're welcome to stay. We just want to have a fellowship time where we can hang out a little bit longer and everyone doesn't have to rush away to go get lunch, you know. So that will enable us to talk and hang out and get to know one another more. Okay? So today is the celebration day that is in part brought about by us being a 501c3, which is required by the state to have an annual meeting. And so, as a religious organization, we always have an annual meeting once a year, and then we started thinking about it, and time has been passing, and this year is a special year. It's actually the end of my 9th year going into the 10th, but we put the 10th on it as a marker point. 9 is a good number because it's a number of completion, and it's my favorite number. My email is 999 after it, so and I'm known for the journey to completion. So this is the 9th year going into the 10th, and we in the 10th year in the Native American traditions, you think about new beginnings and taking a leap forward into new dreams, launching new dreams. So it seems the perfect time for us to do a really big celebration this year. And I'm so thrilled that we have, significant others here like David and Clea, who were in the beginning days of my being here at Unity. And some who were in the beginning days like Roy and Marge couldn't be here. But Karen, you were in on the middle days, and I'm so glad you're here. And so anyway, there's those of you from all different eras of our Unity last 9 years, and I'm so thankful that you're all here. And later on, we'll be thanking you in more detail and naming names and shaking hands and doing a lot of things. But at this point, I'd like to thank one very special person who's been here since almost the beginning of my time, and that is Ariel. And she is here with always with her grandmother, and sometimes with her dad, Frankie Hernandez. And he's played music here for us, but this is our time of blessing the children. But it's a very significant and special day for us with Ariel because she's grown up in our midst from being quite a lot shorter. Quite a lot shorter, like way down here. Yeah. And now she's... Yeah, that's now she's like, I think a preteen, maybe. Woo, so 10 years old. 10 years old. 10 years old. 10 years old. So here she was little. And she's getting ready to leave us, to move down to Austin, to be with her family down there for this coming school year. So we're going to miss you so much, Ariel. You've been such a leader for the kids, and we really appreciate your presence with us. And so we just want to do a special prayer for your life today. Like usually we pray for all the kids and we tell you how much we appreciate you. But I'd love to do a special prayer for your life, for the blessing that you've been to us and that you will be to others. So let's all pray together for Ariel. And like we do, rub your hands together and send her energy. We love you. We appreciate you. And we behold the Christ light shining in you. We thank you, God. We thank you, Spirit, Goddess, and the Goddess of all the fairy realms, for calling Ariel to be in this life and to be a fairy queen in this life. We thank you that you have spoken to her and guided her from the time she was young to go in the ways of the fairy world, of the spirit world. And we know that you'll be with her as she walks this path into a new environment and meets new kids. We know that she'll be a shining light, that she'll be a leader, and that she'll lead other kids to know the light that's in all of us. So we see you, Ariel, having a great year, and we affirm this together, that we will be with you. You're never alone, really, because we know you and we love you, and you can always come back and be with us here, okay? Okay. And we bless the other kids, too. Are there other kids here? Okay, the little guy, we bless them.
And any children, they're welcome to come back.
And Patrice, we thank you, because we won't get to the thank you during the service, but we're going to be talking about it, but you will be with the kids. So we thank you so much for all your service through the years of the children's program. And because we are Omni Faith, today, interspersed throughout our service, will be glimpses of truth from the various world traditions. And at this time, I've asked the board members to come up and lead us in these 4 short affirmations that are from our New Thought tradition. In New Thought, we affirm that things are true for our lives. And so I'd like the 4 board members to come up and listen and deeply take in these affirmations, these blessings that our board members are going to read for our lives.
And these are affirmations by Eugene Holden. The first one is about love. I embrace my relationships as blessed events of love. I belong to the universal power of love. Therefore, I consciously give love to everyone I see and to everything I do.
Let's say aho after each one.
Aho. It's kind of amazing that I got the health affirmation. If you don't know, I've been having a huge health challenge this summer that I've really overcome thanks to this church. I allow spirit within me to outpicture itself as perfect health, wholeness, and well-being. I realize the truth of my being. I am healed. I am committed to revealing perfect health in my life.
Prosperity. The activity of God within me is my abundant supply. The gift of the infinite is always being given. I accept this gift of abundance now. I joyfully demonstrate prosperity in every activity of my life. Aho.
Aho.
Grace. I am one in God. My life is filled with grace, beauty, and divine right action. God's grace is my sufficiency in all matters. I live, love, move, breathe, and have my being in the grace of God. I am grateful.
Thank you, our board members.
Well, all right then. Richard and I are going to do a song that I wrote for the musical that is soon to be produced by the new company in town. Convivio, Teatro Convivio. You've heard of them. They were doing... oh, never mind. Fantastic, thank you. It's hard enough I have to stand here and try to read my own writing.
Back in our old home, the Grange?
Back in our old home at the Grange, that's right. They've redone the stage and all that stuff. Built it out and put in real live theater lighting. Go figure. This is the finale. So in the play there'll be a lot more people singing, but it's very appropriate to our subject matter today. Breathe in, breathe out. I breathe in, I breathe out. I breathe in and notice every breath I take. I breathe out, grateful and secure. In my mind, see the mirror moment I find all is well and right in my mind, and I am free when I let go of fear. There's nowhere else to go, there is only here, and every day I take another step toward my home. I am not alone, for everyone I know is with me here. Let this life be a journey of discovery. Let each step remind me of who I am. May God's love overflow and cover me, and each day make me a better man. And in each face let me see the life and love of God shining as we. And I am free when I let go of fear. Nowhere else to go, there is only here. And every day I take another step toward my home. I am not alone, for everyone I know, everyone I love, and the earth and the sky and the sea. Everyone I love, and the earth and the sky and the sea. I return each time I take the measure of all the blessings that come when I heed the call to the place where all I want to do is love, and the good for one is the same as the good for all. In the coming years we'll understand how being here means more than any plan. And I am free when I let go of fear. Nowhere else to go, there is only here. And every day I take another step toward my home. I am not alone, for everyone I love, and I am free when I let go of all the fear. Nowhere else to go, there is only here. And every day I take another step toward my home. I am not alone, for everyone I love, everyone I love, and the earth and the sky and the sea.
Like David's song said, we are important to one another. You are important to me. And you are important to one another. We are living the days of our lives here, together, knowing one another. This is it. This is our lives. And we are deeply knowing one another in all the ways that we can. So, on this day, for those of us that have been journeying together for a while, and for those of us that are newer on the path, it's a call to deepening. It's a call to realize this is it. This is our one life. And we're only here for a short time. And we're giving of ourselves to one another, knowing one another deeply. So from the bottom of my heart, I thank you for being here, being in my life, and making my life so special these past 9 years. And right now I want to read a poem that's by a man who also made my life very, very special. And he didn't even know it, really. He's one of those great ones that has walked amongst us, and his name's John O'Donohue. John O'Donohue. And I got to meet him once. I went up to Bend for a workshop, and he was there visiting from Ireland, leading it. So I'm so thankful I got to meet him. And I thought to myself, I'm going to spend time with him. Whatever it takes, I'm going to go to the retreat he leads in Ireland or in California, or I'm going to spend time with him. And in that next year, he died. He was only 50. So we never know, when we cross paths with people, and how important it is to be loving to our fullest extent. And I'll never forget that moment of him hugging me and saying, I'm very glad to meet you, Norma Bird. That's as best I could do it, Irish. So I can't really read this in an Irish brogue, but I just have to imagine him reading this in his deep, beautiful voice. So David just sang us about freedom, and this is John O'Donohue's poem, For Freedom. As a bird soars high in the free holding of the wind, clear of the certainty of ground, opening the imagination of wings into the grace of emptiness, to fulfill new voyagings. May your life awaken to this call of its freedom. As the ocean absolves itself of the expectation of land, approaching only in the form of waves that fill and pleat and fall with such gradual elegance as to make of the limit a sonorous threshold whose music echoes back among the give and strain of memory. Thus may your heart know the patience that can draw from infinity, from limitation. As the embrace of the earth welcomes all we call death, taking deep into itself the right solitude of a seed, allowing it time to shed the grip of former form and give way to a deeper generosity that will one day send it forth, a tree, into springtime. May all that holds you fall from its hungry ledge into the fecund surge of your heart. And Donna, would you keep playing for a few moments while we just contemplate these most beautiful words and this blessing for our lives? life awaken to the call of its freedom. May your heart know the patience that can draw infinity from limitation. And may all that holds you fall from its hungry ledge into the fecund surge of your heart. Aho. May it be. Last night I went to the festival for a little while over at Jackson Well Springs. Did any of you go to it? Some of you were there? Yes. And Tina Malia was singing. She's one of my favorites. And I also ran into a young man who is a relative of Jesse and Katie, Jordan, or Joshua, is it? What's it, Josh? What's his name? No? He's an in-law of yours, I think. Or a friend. He looks like your son. Joshua. Yeah, Joshua. You know, I always get mixed up because he looks so much like their other son that I think of him as one of their family. And the thing that struck me about running into him was that, yes, we are growing up in this community. Young people are growing up, like Ariel and like this fine young man. And I paused to get a chance to talk with him. And it was remarkable because he told me that he's journeyed deep into the Mayan calendar. And now he has a job working here in town for an international Mayan calendar organization. And they've put forth publications and this beautiful book, 13 Moon Almanac, for this year, 2013, to help you follow the Mayan calendar. And I turned to the glyph for today, and it was so great because we're so on target. He was telling me that we should try to live our lives so that we'd be on target with the Mayan calendar glyphs of the day, and that's what the purpose in tracking it is, so that we can help to align ourselves. But listen to this, because I think we've done it. I think we've aligned ourselves. Power ripens fruit is the title of today. Power ripens fruit. And then the affirmation is, I empower myself and others in order to know. I command healing. I seal the store of accomplishment with the overtone of radiance. I am guided by the power of vision. Well, it's short, so I'll read it again. I empower myself and others in order to know. I command healing. I seal, it's like putting the seal of the Holy Spirit on the storehouse of accomplishment. With the overtone of radiance, I am guided by the power of vision. Beautiful, isn't it? And then at the end, there's a sentence that says, even as you breathe, telepathic registrations collapse light years of meaning into a single insight. Even as we breathe here today, our telepathic registrations, which I take as meaning alignments, our telepathic alignments together are collapsing light years of meaning into single potent insights. So I pray that from today, a single potent insight might collapse and travel with you. I pray that for every time we gather, that these potent insights that come not just from me, but from our telepathic alignment with one another in our lives, bring these insights that carry us through all the challenges and all the things we have to go through. I remember when I first arrived in Ashland, I was just coming out of the ending of a relationship and seeking for a new environment, and I came to Unity. And at that time it was meeting at the Grange, and I just call forth the memories of some of you who were there, greeting me and welcoming me. And your reaching out to me drew me in, and you started to find out who I was, and you valued me. And you talked to me about my gifts. And you learned that I had been a minister and Masters of Divinity, and you said, oh, you could come and speak. And so over a period of time, I started speaking occasionally, and then more and more frequently, and then it happened that the minister, Sherry Lady at the time, had to leave and was going back to Eugene, and it all turned and turned that I was called forth for my gifts, valued for who I was, to step into power, more power, and leadership. Now that could happen to any one of you sitting here at any particular moment. You know, someone in our unity group here could be talking to you and say, you've got just the gifts we need. And reach out the hand to you and be calling you forth into more leadership and therefore more power. Because every time we step into a new journey, it's called gathering your power. Gathering your power. So having been studying with the Huichos for a while before I came to Ashland, I realized that this was potentially an empowering time for me, that I was being welcomed into this community and into this role. And so the first service that I officially did as the minister of this group, I called it Stepping into the Dragon's Power. And I'm born in the year of the dragon. And lo, I got to live all the way through to 2012 with you, which was the year of the water dragon, and a big completion year for me. So stepping into the dragon's power and that first Sunday of being the minister was a big deal for me. And we had a wonderful woman who was leading the music that day who had been in New Zealand with the Maoris, and she led all of this Maori music. Were any of you there? Were any of you there? Did any of you remember it? You guys were there?
Leslie
It was-
Lightfall.
Leslie Lightfall, that's who it was, yes. And she's since gone back to New Zealand, but it was Maori music, and we were doing motions and stomping and chanting and moving, and it was such a powerful, incredible inauguration of my time with you all. And so I was just remembering back to that and being so thankful for that moment. And then that brought to mind many other incredible rituals that we've done together. Rituals that were very creative, especially a lot of them at the Grange took place. We did so many interesting things at the Grange. We really moved around and made use of that space. Like I remember one time at the winter solstice, we had a whole group of people over in one corner being the ships, and they were swaying back and forth as the ship was called out to sea in the dark winter's night. And then we had all of these other people processing in with violin-led music, and people were all moving and interacting in all these amazing ways. And another time we had a Day of the Dead celebration, and Heather led it with this eerie-sounding violin coming in, and people dressed in white or black with white and black banners marched in from both sides, and then came a coffin. And we carried in this cardboard coffin that was all decorated in black and white, and we did this big ritual of ending the dualism in our lives. And everybody participated in it in movement kinds of ways. And then another time it was Palm Sunday, and we had to play with that a little bit, so we had, remember that one? We had everybody go behind the curtain up on the stage and into a secret inner world environment, and when they were back there, there were palm readers. Suzanne with her long white hair was one of them, you know, all dressed up with a palm hat, her long white hair. So everybody got their palm read. Palm Sunday. So that was the Grange. And another thing about the Grange time was that it was such a vibrant time of community building for us. We were all really ignited about building community. And so you're not going to believe this, but every single Sunday after church for over a year, we had a potluck. Every single Sunday. And everybody stayed. And we just wanted to be together. So we ate together every Sunday. The word started to spread, and a lot of homeless people started to come. So that was cool. And that could happen because we had one woman who really spearheaded it and organized it and kept it going. And that's what it takes sometimes as a volunteer coordinator, you know, to step in and do that. And then we had amazing Kalia, who was our board president. You were the board president, I think, at the time. And then you also went into working with the Grange very full on. And she and Richard Kurth and Roy and others helped to, David, really helped to forge this relationship between the Grange and Unity. And for all of the great parts of it and the shadowy parts that came up of it, we did a great work, you know, and we really built community in an amazing way that expanded out beyond our borders. Then we moved, we felt it was time, everything happened to lead us to move to meeting at the community center at Jackson Wellsprings. That beautiful room that has the high ceiling, and there's something magical about that space, don't you agree? A lot of energy has gone into that, just like these other sacred spaces like this one, but that's got a special magic to it. And for the 2 years that we met there, we were visited by Spirit there, time and time again. I mean, tear-jerking visitations, like I see Kathy Mary shaking her head, and I remember one time when I had broken my ankle, and I had to be for 12 weeks in a non-weight-bearing cast situation, so I couldn't do much. And everybody in the community really came forth to help me and meet me. And I had to sit giving my talks on a big chair with my foot up. And so I thought, let's play with this. You know? So let me be a guru for the day. and have everybody come up, and I will bless them with a special blessing of the soil from Chimayo in New Mexico, which is a healing sanctuary, you know, kind of like Lourdes in France. And I think Heather was there, and Richard, and I think Laura and David were also there. We had a lot of singers that day. And, whoa, Spirit fell upon us. And every single person came up for a blessing, and people were weeping and crying and hugging one another, and the music was perfect, and it just went on, and lives were healed, and hearts were changed, and it was like when we, you know, take a leap and step out and say, Spirit, meet us in a special way. Spirit met us. And that's happened over and over again in our midst. Especially times when we've worked with Mary Magdalene. We've had several different rounds through the years of inviting the presence of Mary Magdalene here, questing into it, wondering about who she was, examining all the ancient texts and inviting her presence to come here, like with Anya Kumara. She helped me many times to anoint people and to break the alabaster jar and to do these magnificent rituals where we really felt the spiritual presence. I remember one of those when we were working with the Hieros Gamos, which is the Star of David, which has the triangle coming down and the triangle coming up, meeting. And here in the Havara, there is one of those. And I picked it up as we were talking about it, and it became ignited with power. Yeah, it's like that up there, but there's a wooden one here somewhere. And again, we had a moving came upon us to have a blessing of everyone, and we were singing Kyrie eleison, remember that? And blessing each person with the Hieros Gamos, and again, it was a huge, powerful visitation of that energy of the divine feminine and the divine masculine coming together and changing our perspective on what that's all about. So we've had some profound rituals, and thank you for letting me just reminisce about a few of them. In a few minutes, we're going to be asking you to reminisce about some of the highlights, just briefly, of things that you remember. Rituals, it's probably our main thing that we've done here. Every Sunday we're doing a ritual. And what's significant about that? Well, in the realms of yoga, they talk about bhakti yoga is a fast path to enlightenment. And what bhakti yoga is praise of the divine and being willing to offer oneself up to an embodiment of the divine in a praiseful moment, in a container with many people being in praise. So I think that's part of what we've been doing. And another part of it, Jung talks about the power of rituals, that the unconscious mind, and therefore the collective unconscious, is satisfied with the symbolic enactment of a truth. So you hear what I'm saying? When we do ritual together, our deep unconscious is being healed, and we're actually healing the collective mind by doing these rituals together. So it's really powerful actions that we're taking here. We've gotten recognition just in humans who've come here saying things to us that really bless our hearts. And I don't know if they've said them to you, or you might be some of the people who felt them too, but I'm lucky because I stand at the back at the end, and people go out and they tell me how they've been blessed during the service. And so I remember one day when the chaplain from Providence, she was the head chaplain, minister woman, but at Providence Hospital, had been coming here. And she came up to me and with tears in her eyes, and she said, "You don't know how special that you are, and this place is, and all these people are." She said, "I've, of course, lived all over, and I've been to churches all over the place, and I've never been to a church like this." She said, "You're stepping out on the radical edge of truth in a way that I don't find anywhere else." She said, I'm having to move away to go back to LA, but I want you to keep going. Please keep going, because I'm going to listen to your services every Sunday on your website afterwards, because there's nothing like it." And then a couple of weeks ago, these people were visiting who had traveled in their RV all over the United States, purposely going to Unity and New Thought churches. And they came up to me at the end and they said, we've visited them all, and we haven't found one that's like this. This is unique. This is unusual. And we want to move here. We live in Sedona, but this community is drawing us to change our whole location and wanting to move here. So we're going to go back and be working on that and figuring that out. And some of the others of you, Francie and others, have said that, and you're thinking about moving here, that this has been a big draw for you to have this community. So,
well, don't you move away.
So that's a great segue, though, into what I am going to say next, which is not that I'm moving away, but that what I feel like we are moving toward is realizing that all of this takes place because of teamwork. There are no dreams that come true without a team. You heard that say, you've got to have your dream team, Well, guess what? You all have been my dream team and are my dream team. And the dreams that I have keep changing and growing, as they should. And I'm sure the dreams that you have for your spiritual food and your spiritual community keep changing and growing. So I've learned and watched through the years that the team members come and go. Some come in close for a while to be in the leadership team or the board and then flow out. Some flow into our congregation and flow out. Some come and visit at times and go away. So I've had the big lesson, which has been a great lesson, of trusting that flow. And knowing that the right people will show up at the right time, and that those are the people that had to be there. So at this time in our movement, we're moving toward inviting more leaders to come forth again. And so what that requires is you thinking about your dreams that you have for your spiritual life and your spiritual community, your ideal spiritual community, right? And how they could come true. And I'd like to see this expansion of teamwork in that way that you're actually thinking, yes, my dreams are going to come true here. If you haven't been thinking that, I want you to be thinking, my dreams, your own personal spiritual dreams need to and are going to come true here. And I'm sure in other places in your life, but they are going to come true here. And that some of you are going to draw forth your dream teams. It's not just me drawing forth my dream team, but some of you are going to have a dream, and then you're going to think to yourself, who would be great people to be on my dream team to accomplish this? And then you're going to call them forth. Then you're going to communicate with them. And you're going to talk about, how your dream came about, would they join with you? And as I thought about this, I realized this is an ancient practice. Ancient. In Native American circles, I learned that I used to lead a certain kind of workshop that was called Finding Your Song. So it was years ago before I did the Journey to Completion, like in the 80s. And what we did was we would draw one person in the center of the circle, and we would drum and hum until they felt a song coming out of them. And then they would start humming it and singing it, and then we'd try to listen to it, and then we'd all hum and sing along with it so that there was a sense of resonance, and then they got brave enough to sing out their song. So that's what I'm talking about, your dream circles, okay? Bringing together people that will hum with you and listen to you, and then eventually you'll get brave enough to bring out your dream. Karen Surratt and I worked a lot on bringing, when she was the board president, of trying to bring together these small committees of people that would carry forth parts of the dream. And we've been stalled on that for a little while. We've circled back around to strengthening the board and going through healing things that we have had to, but I think we're circling back around to a new way of imagining these dream teams coming forth. In organizational development, which I worked a lot with in the 90s, it said that most organizations do not just get better on their own. Did you know that? Most organizations do not just get better on their own. They don't grow, improve, and reach championship caliber. Instead, they tend to wind down. The road to the next level is always uphill. And if there isn't a team of people intentionally moving the organization up, then it inevitably slides down. If the team loses focus and gets out of rhythm, then the energy decreases and unity breaks down. That's why teams that reach their potential always possess what? Catalysts. Catalysts. Teams that reach their potential always possess catalysts. And I like to call catalysts get it done and then some people. You all, many of you out there that I've got to know through the years, you are those people. You are get it done and then some people, aren't you? You know that. You are those people. And that's why we're sitting here after all these years. And we're still getting it done, you know. So you are catalyst people. Catalysts are people who, no matter what situation arises, they're capable of putting the team in the position to win the game. Catalysts are those people who put the team in the situation to win the game, no matter what occurs. Haven't we done that over and over again? Can you think of ways that we've done that? You know, obstacles that we've encountered, and we've worked together to put ourselves in the position to win the game. You can think of a lot of teams that have done that. Like Michael Jordan is known for being one of those catalyst people that the team that he goes on to, they're going to win. And he eventually in his career, he was known as the Little Wiz, and he bought a basketball team called the Wizards. And they actually hadn't been doing too well when he bought them. And then what did he do the first day that he came to introduce himself? He put on his number 23 jersey, and he got out there and he just started to play. And he just started to rev up their energy. And even though he was older and everything, he could outplay them all still. And he got them all energized and inspired, and they sat back and they went, whoa, okay, that's what a catalyst is. It's somebody who stirs up the energy, stirs it up, and doesn't let people just sit there and talk and rest. Okay? That's what catalysts are. That's what you are. Catalysts have started lots of things in our country. Civil rights movements. Churches, women's movement stuff, suffragettes, students who brought the Vietnam War to a close. Lots of things have been started up. Liberation of blacks, liberation of gays and lesbians. Lots of things have been started by catalyst people who stirred up the environment, you know. And in a few moments, I'm going to be just naming off and listing and thanking some of the catalyst people here. So teamwork. I'll just close on this note that teamwork is always at the heart of great achievement. One is too small a number to achieve greatness. So it's not just about me. One is too small a number to achieve greatness. I want to go on to more greatness in my personal life and with you. And I know you want to go on to more greatness too. And so it's the truth that it's only achieved by teamwork. So for whatever all the reasons are, you find yourself here. And we're here in this teamwork building environment to go on to greatness, to a greater greatness, to bigger dreams. And right now, astrologically, there's a lot happening, that is affirming this. And in the month of mid-September, there's this energy that's coming again, that's causing us to leap. And I think a lot of us are feeling this because at first it makes us unstable. And we get all maybe confused for a moment and think, who are we now? What are we doing? And then it's because we're being caused to leap to this next level. So that's upon us again here. And we're right in sync with it, just like we're right in sync with the Mayan calendar for today. We're right in sync with this in unity because we're going through this questioning, who are we now? On our board and leadership team, we're talking about how are we going to change and shape-shift now to best meet our communities and the world's needs in the future. So in this fall, we're going to be calling together teams of you, groups of you, again, with a strategic planner person, and make sure that we set out based on our history, and yet, like John O'Donohue calls us to, stepping out in flight, away from the shore, into the sky, into some new freedom that we don't. I've got visions. You've got visions. I don't know exactly what form it will take yet, but I know something bigger and new is coming for us. And I just want to thank Jane Sterling for making these vision boards right here. There's 7 out front just to draw your attention to them, but we're going to have them in the back afterwards during the potluck for you to look at.
Is this appropriate church material?
We've been asking that for years. So yeah, we're out there on the edge and we like it. And this is the time in our service when we'd like to ask you to dig into your memories a little bit and bring forth some moments of praise, some moments of laughter. Just a few of you share some memories that you have through the years, things that have touched your hearts and made it a special spiritual community. You.
Thank you, Richard. One really special event for me here was when Norma talked about the book of 5 stages of forgiveness, and everybody got in line and they forgive their grandfather for molesting them, and someone for breaking their arm, and another person for stealing all their money. And I got up and I said, I have to forgive myself for my ongoing efforts at trying to forgive this one particular person who's just not sorry. And I'm up there crying, and Norma said, stop everybody. And you said, it's okay. And I have to say that I'm still working on forgiveness, and I'm just not that soon.
I have one too.
Yes, Larry.
Well, I hope I can grow a team here today. Last year, that's what I put in an offering, $1. This year, it's got to be 5. Join me.
Well, whenever I talk to about unity with anyone, I always say, this is my favorite unity story. It was at Christmas time, and we came in, and you had a nativity scene back here behind the stairs, the chairs. And there was an angel, and there was Joseph, and there was Mary. I don't know whether there was anybody else, but Mary had the Christ child in her arms. And they said, come everybody, come and look at the Christ child. And you got real close, and you looked in, and you were looking at a mirror. Like never got over that, and that's my favorite unity story.
And Karen, I just have to say that, Karen is a wonderful theater person, and she has done 2 magnificent plays here, and those were highlights of our time together too. So things like that.
So the nativity scene Karen spoke of, that was the creative idea of Alita Nowitzki. She brought that to us. So it's hard for me to think of a particular, one of my favorite times, because there's been so many through the years, and Norma spoke to a couple of them. But I first found unity, I think it was 2001, and we were meeting the Conversations with God Center. No, former Conversations with God Center. And 2 of my first friends here were Richard Williams and David Gabriel. And then I started to become more involved with the music. And then Norma came aboard, and it just seemed like a fit to me from the beginning. And even more so when Norma joined, became such a part of it. And I love how I feel so received here. How I can give and receive so fully with such authenticity. And I really love the bridge between Christianity and paganism, and that feels very healing to me.
Yes.
And it's so refreshing. And I could say more, but I just have so much gratitude for the unity of all the what we bring to the world and ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you. Karen.
I don't have a particular story. I just want to acknowledge how you have enlightened, enchanted, and transformed us Sunday after Sunday after Sunday. The consistency is kind of mind-boggling. There's never a bad experience in any of it. And that is amazing. That is amazing. And you have also helped our family. And of course, Robert and I went through the journey to completion, which was a very special experience and something that we have a very new appreciation of shadow than we ever had before. And it was very powerful. And a few years ago, you read a passage by Mike Dooley. That was a few years ago. And now I'd like to read part of that passage. Shine it on. Back to you. Okay. You are a light in the darkness, a bringer of the dawn. Your touch heals, your gaze inspires, and your smile is like cool water to parched lips. The sight of you stirs one's spirit, and your departure is always too soon. Your profoundly unique journey has been one of a kind, and it has yielded compassion and insights as rare as yourself, gifts that sparkle like a diamond in the sun. You are a pillar, an icon, and a champion to those who know you and to those who wish they did. Your effect on the world today, as you are, where you are, is awesome. Since you shine your light because, while your significance may sometimes escape you, it changes others forever.
I I met Norma before Norma was Reverend Norma of Unity in Ashland, in Santa Fe, when she interviewed me for a job in, must have been 2002 or 3. And we knew we wanted to work together, but the woman who was in charge didn't hire me. So I come up here, James Wyman, Stephen, all these people, and the ocean attracted me to Oregon. So I'm standing in the Grange talking at an event to this woman, and I go, "You seem awfully familiar." And it was Norma. And I thought she was my sister's neighbor. I mean, that's what she looked like. So I had been working in Santa Fe at the Unity there. So I got on the team in 2006 and 7 and offered all my great ideas, which were all wonderful. And, and then I went back to Santa Fe, and again, this stirring Norma. I felt, every time I thought of her, I really felt this longing to come back up. So I came up in July of last year. And so I have put together a little collage for Norma of some of the pictures that I took back in 2006 and 7, including Heather doing a lovely exotic dance, and the last visioning that I was at in the Circle of Terran, and Norma visiting me in Santa Fe at Chimayo, at the sanctuary. So this is a journey of completion. So all the things you talked about today, here you go, here's a picture of them. And I'm leaving this week for Santa Fe again. So I'm going to be sending vibes back from Santa Fe and listening on Sundays or Mondays or Tuesdays to the sermons.
Oh, Christine, we'll
Thank
miss
you.
You brought us so much.
She had the energy when I met her to really do a lot, and so it's wonderful to be here.
I need a Kleenex. Could somebody get me a Kleenex? You should have known. It's noon right now? Okay. Let's pause for just a moment then, because it is noon. And so it's our opportunity to center in and realize that people all over the world right now are praying. What a powerful, powerful thing. Let's draw our prayers together for the people in Egypt. They're leading the way. They're calling for democracy. They're calling for justice and for human rights. And we feel that in our human hearts, the need for those things, and we're so thankful that we have the liberties that we have here. And we imagine ourselves right now in our doubles, like Jung says, our spirit bodies, our ka bodies, reaching out, even flying across the ethers, across the oceans to those people there, and being there like a legion of angels in this moment. Thousands and millions of people all over the planet praying. May they feel it in Egypt. May they look up. May they look behind their back and see us all standing there with them. May they feel the strength, the empowerment of our good wishes for them. May the leaders of that country come to their senses. May the leaders of the United States talk sense, talk justice, and do the right thing. And may the hearts of all of the people overcome their dualism. It is so important that in the Middle East, the hearts of humans overcome their dualism, overcome their animosity, and come into the truth of the oneness. Through all the heartbreak, may they meet at the places of the broken heart and find their unity with one another. And we see it. We see it happening. It must happen. We know that this is the pathway that must be walked, so we claim today the power of Spirit to bring forth in our lifetime a healing and a harmony on this planet that we have been longing for, that humans have been longing for so long. We see today this moment having a big impact on Egypt. Please imagine everything that you can imagine throughout this day of the good happening there. And so it is. Just 1 minute before you speak. We knew that today's service would be longer, and that's one reason why we wanted to have a potluck, so that you wouldn't be worried about, rushing off for food. We've got wonderful food here, so if you would just not mind going a little bit longer, if you need to get up to go to the bathroom or something, that's okay, but I expect it will go about 10 to 15 more minutes of memories and thanks and closing. So we planned it that way. And the offering, yes. Okay.
Let's do
All right, let's do the offering now, and then
offering.
we can segue in. Yeah, because lots of us can relate to that. I think we're big givers, We give, and I love to give, but it's harder for me to receive.
Well, we're gonna.
That was a fabulous healing moment.
It doesn't stop there, though. It doesn't stop there. So we have energy, we have love, we have hugs, we have all of these things. But it's also very, very nice in this world to be acknowledged in another way. That's material. Wouldn't you say? Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I think if I were to project my wish for you, it would be to have some R&R time and to relax and to be kind to you. So in honor of that, this is a gift to get some relaxation.
Giraffe on it.
So enjoy to get your release. That's from the congregation and the board.
It's perfect. So thank you so much. Want to bless the offering? Okay. That's fabulous. Go right out and do it this week. So we rub our hands together and we say, divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. So it is. And on the note of the offering, we at the annual meeting, it's time to have our annual report, And so instead of printing up a lot of pieces of paper and giving them to all of you, we did it this way this year to try to conserve paper. Isn't that a good idea? But we want you to look at this, and we want you to notice that actually our expenses are quite small for running an organization like this, but that's because we've been operating kind of at a bare minimum, and we'd love to expand in some ways. And the ways that we'd like to expand are miscellaneous additional annual expenses that we could go toward, and they're also on statements about our financials over here. So we're not going to talk about it in detail this week, but as we go into our strategic plan in the fall for our new times, our new dreams, we'll be talking more about what dreams we can dream together and how we can increase our finances. And we've got some interesting ideas going about how that can happen. So take a look at this later, okay, as well as the whole board. Yes.
Okay. I wanted to let you know, talk about important things happening here at Unity. I wanted to let you know that prayer absolutely works. We have our prayer group Monday night. We've had so many healings and blessings. But when I first came to Unity, there were very few people that would come to service. And I would go away feeling, that was so magnificent. Everybody needs to hear this. And it hurt me inside that these beautiful words would not be shared with the crowds and the people that I anticipated. And I am so grateful for the prayers that enable all of you to be here in this wonderful environment, to hear Norma, and then to have it be on website, and for everybody in the community all over the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Arlene, for those prayers. So many prayers have been answered by the faithful prayers.
I don't think.
Okay, David.
It's really interesting to come back, and I wasn't planning to say anything, but it's this service sort of reminds me, we're sort of like correspondents from the front, we come out east and trying to find a New Thought church or any church out there. And we can tell you pretty definitively that it sucks. And it makes us really realize what we have here. It's really quite amazing. And having been on the leadership team at the very first when you came here, I'm just amazed at where things have come, because I know the struggles that you went through personally and financially and everything here. So things are going really well. I wanted to say that honoring you is really appropriate, and honoring your openness and inclusion of what the musicians do, because I speak from prejudice for that.
He's a musician.
And the fact that that every Sunday is recreated. There's no stale ritual. I love your song that's so irreverent, because there's so many people in my experience that would just get really pissy about talking about stuff like that, you know, in church. But it's very real here. And I remember when when I first saw her come in, I thought, we have just been visited by a fairy. and it's truly just the energy. Of course, David, you were away doing something else. And
I'm also a fairy, too.
Well, it really is a miracle that you came back, because I've always loved your voice, and I love your demented sense of humor. And the thing that I've always honored about this church is that Richard has been here, because I think
And on that note, which was, I think, a B flat, yes, we just really want to especially honor Richard today, because he has been with this organization even before I was with this community. And so, Richard, come on over here. We just really want you to know how very, very, very deeply we appreciate you. You're here every single week. You're the one mainstay here. And yes, irreverent, that's okay. We accept that. In my mind, you are total Zen with a capital N. And we want to just give you a little gift of appreciation. And just know that we love you. Let's say we love Richard. We love Richard. We love Richard.
The thought of me being in church for 10 years. And when I tell people, yeah, I do, I say, where do you play? I don't really play much. Well, I play in Unity, and what's that? Well, it's kind of a pagan church. But I immediately follow that with, the reason I'm here is because of Norma.
Right.
And it's like, I always heard the bard sits at the right hand of the king or queen, and that's I want that. I don't want to be the king or queen. I like being the bard sitting at the right hand.
We have so many wonderful musicians here, and we want to honor all of them today that are here with us. Heather, she has been with Unity. Yes. Gabriel and Donna Benjamin and Jane Sterling, and I know Cerise is back there somewhere, and Laura DeRocher. I guess she's not here today, but she's another highlight here, and others that have participated. We really, we would not even be half what we are without them. They really have gotten us.
David brought so much music while he was here. Yes, he's a great musician. We have so much.
Katie Anderson, come on up because
Katie, yes.
we led the choir.
Oh, I'm so glad Katie's
We
here.
led the choir together. We had the honor of leading the choir together here for a short time. It was amazing.
There was a choir, you guys. It could happen again. Yes. Come back to the choir. Yeah. Okay, thank you so much, musicians. Okay, a few more comments of people. Anne Marie.
Norma, you said that unity makes leaders. We end up taking the leadership role when you ask us to step up. Well, I have a short story, and it's very short. About 20 years ago, when I was first became a minister, I was working in Chicago, and this minister came up to my table. And he said to me, "Oh, hello," and I said, "Yeah, I'm a minister too." He says, "Wait a minute." And he went in his satchel, and he pulled out a thing of chrism, and he anointed my head, and that had never been done before. And then about 15 years later, or 20 years later, here I am at Unity Church, and we are having Ganesh Sunday, remember? When we all got up and we wore the saris and everything. And here I am at the door, and the stuff that we were supposed to make to anoint everybody's head was poison. It was sick, it was toxic. So we had to use corn flour or cornmeal. You remember that day? Okay, so here I am at the door now, anointing people with cornmeal. So now it was my turn. And today, Norma, with your permission, I don't have cornmeal, and I don't have the oil of chrism, but I do have hands of light. And I would love to ordain,
Anoint.
Okay, I'm really nervous, okay. Is that okay? You get what I'm saying? Okay. Today, Norma, we call upon the Most High Light, and we anoint you with the kindness and the courage of the Father, with the compassion and the healing of the Mother, with the wisdom of the Spirit, the Holy Spirit, with the voice of Metatron, and with the courage of the dragon, and the love of this congregation. So be it, and so it is. Amen.
Ellen.
Probably one of the few people that actually predates Norma in Unity here in action. And I can tell you, there's a couple things I want to convey, and today was a perfect example. The marriage of the sacred masculine and feminine, the integration of the sacred and profane. It's beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love you, Richard. You're so fantastic. And it's very emotional because what I've seen in this congregation under the leadership of Norma is our evolution. Not only my personal evolution, but her evolution. I've seen that. And she's come into what she is today by a process of growth. And she was always great, but she's just gotten progressively greater and greater and greater. And she's taken us along with her. And I am so grateful. And she is by far the best integration I have ever seen of spirituality, of science, of philosophy, bringing together the whole package. And I'm so grateful. Thank you. I love you.
I just want to, on a very, very, very deeply personal note, Estelle Lusky invited me into the prayer circle 2 years ago. And I didn't know how that was going to shift my life and my consciousness. And for my friendship with Kathy Mary and Arlene and all the people on the prayer team, and the friendships here as well, the deep level of caring, there's something magical here that happens. And so I just want to say that part of who I am today is because of you, is because of Estella inviting me, nice Jewish girl from Queens doing a prayer circle at Unity, right on. And I just want to really acknowledge that part of it personally for me. I do one more thing. Richard, the fact that you're there for me every single time musically, I don't know a B flat from an F sharp, okay? That you're there for me every single time. I say, hey, just give me a this. That is a huge, huge thing as well. And that all of you support me in that maniacness as well, in a good way. I really appreciate it. I should say creativity. Yes, so thank you so much.
When I came to Ashland, it was 10 years ago, and I got involved with Unity right away. And Unity was dying. It almost was not going to be existent in Ashland because it just wasn't a fit for Ashland. And I have to say that Norma saved this church. She not only saved people, but she saved this organization. And I am so grateful. This is so wonderful because I was with that struggle and trying to keep Unity alive and all of that. And when Norma came on, this is like what I always wanted to see. And I'm just so grateful to you, Norma, because it was a struggle and you did it. You did it, really. Thank you so much.
For a long time, like 5 years, and really forged through it all with me and us, and she was such a catalyst person. Thank you.
My name is Francie, and I'm new to this church, and I feel so much and so much gratitude for this church and for this grouping that I just really feel called to say thank you to all of you who have created this. And I hear the journey that's so true of so many journeys throughout our history. And it's wonderful to feel like we're part of that deep journey of being together and unifying. And I want to thank all of you who've spoken and who have sang and who have put your hearts and your spirits and your time into this organization so that those of us who are new in Ashland have this amazing community to come to. Deeply grateful, and I'm looking forward to being an integral part, just like you have been. So thank you for leading the way.
When Francie first walked in the door, like many of you, like somehow I recognized her. And that's how I feel about so many of you too, that we have a soul recognition with each other. So thankful you came, and your husband and your sister. A big giant blessing has come into my life through Francie, which is that her sister owns a house here that was a vacation rental, but they're having me rent it. And it's a beautiful house, and I look forward to inviting you over for housewarming. Thank you for bringing that into my life. Huge, huge blessing. Right. All of you know I'm challenged in that way, so it's fabulous. Yes. Hi, Marguerite.
I'm a little nervous
first being here, but I didn't want to leave without saying thank you.
You're leaving, Marguerite?
I'm leaving Ashland,
Oh.
and this community and this service, and Norma in particular, has affected my life in a huge way. And I just want to thank you all so much. And I came here when I was at a point in my life which was probably the lowest I've ever been. And I cried through so many services. And I am just so grateful that I had all of this around. And for that wonderful lady that's new here, you've come to the right spot. This is incredible, really incredible. So I want to give you this gift, Norma. This is something that I made. This is Palais. I'm about to head off to another place, and this is very symbolic. And I want to read, it says this little card that goes with it, share with me my brokenness, and I'll share with you my wholeness. And together we'll hold it all, and together we'll be love. And on the back it says, unwrapping her hands from her heart, she offered her all. And I think that really symbolizes Norma. Thank you, Norma.
Come back and sit up. Yeah, come back.
That kind of opens a segue for what I wanted to share. The thing about Unity that's been so special to me is that it has provided a safe envelope, a cushioned place for people to come with their brokenness. And we've heard it through our musicians too, and the same came for me. I grew up with a deaf mother, but I never felt fluent in ESL. And I was bilingual. And to be able to sign a song or poetry, it takes skilled ASL to do that. And so many times, but just because of the way it opened up, I was asked to interpret songs I'd never heard before, didn't have the words before. And that required skilled ASL that I just knew inside me I just didn't have. But it opened up a place for me to heal that I didn't even knew that needed to be healed. So I just want to express my deep gratitude to all musicians that had the grace to respond when Spirit said, hey, wave Esther up here, as I was safely practicing back there. And I just want to thank everyone for, even though I know you don't know ASL, and so you don't know any different. Okay? I could sign anything and you'd think it was beautiful. But it's just still, I want to thank you for your expression of appreciation when I did sign. And I also want to say one note that's special for Norma, is it just amazes me every time I come. And I would hear from her, the Spirit guides you so beautifully. And I would hear from her exactly what I needed to hear. You know, there'd be a struggle within myself quietly stirring around. And then she'd say something and I'd go, oh, that's right. You know, that ring of truth of who I really am. So thank you, Norma, for allowing the Spirit to guide you so deeply and so beautifully. Thank you, everyone.
Aho Mitakuyasin. In Lakota means all my relations. Norma, you're my sister. Not looking. We sit in the sweat lodge together, although we've never sat in the sweat lodge together. We go up on the hill to pray in Vision Quest, although we've never done that together. I come into this circle and I feel the presence of the elders. And that's why I keep coming back. And my brothers and sisters, you join me. So I love you. I appreciate you. I honor your path. Fellow New Yorker, upstate. Finger Lakes person. Yeah. Oh, so bring that energy. So thank you. And Santa Fe, we met. We knew Norma just a little bit. Donna knew Norma just a little bit in Santa Fe. And then we were doing the Pioneers Conference in Eugene. And this woman comes up, and Donna's looking at her, and she's looking at her. I know you. And then Santa Fe, so another Santa Fe. So here we are. So all the directions, 7 directions here today for all of us. Kalami, Kalami Kola. Echa Tuwela. Aho Mitakuyasin.
most of you know me, right? I made a choice to move to Ashland in 2007. And I wanted to live in a small town of spiritual people and an environment that was healthy. And in my preparing to move, my journey was extremely escalated or sped up because I had to evacuate from the San Diego wildfires, which made my move, instead of it making a 6-month move, it made it a 2-hour move. And when I came, I was severely traumatized. Some of you know that. And I've had a journey of environmental toxicity and more trauma. And I want to say, Norma, I was really not me when I came. And I was in severe trauma, and you welcomed me with open arms. Not only did you welcome me, you gave me a spot where I could do what I love, work with the children. She gave me the opportunity to do a seminar or speech shortly after I got here, and it helped me to stabilize, and it was really, really important to me. And then when I had a relapse of the post-traumatic stress and the environmental toxicity, you were again there for me. And I was definitely not myself, and you still embraced me and loved me unconditionally. And that was a solid factor in what helped me to get my life turned around again. And so your heart is huge, and you create miracles in people's lives, and you have helped me to get back on track again. So thank you.
Norma, back there.
I want to say that I came to Ashland to visit my family. I had a grandson who was in life-death struggles. And my friend Archie brought me to Unity here. And I started coming. And I was also in a state myself when I came in losing my will to live because my sweetheart had died and I didn't have a reason to be. And Norma became part of my life. What you brought to me in the sermons, the eclecticness of it and the wisdom of it, I was feeling some of my sweetheart. And it when it came to the point where I was wanting to go home, I said, I'm staying because of you in this church. And I'm so grateful for all of you and for Norma. And Norma, when I did the shamanic work with you, there was two super special things about it. One was that all of my stories, you turned them around and saw my working with what I had at that point in my life. And it turned around my stories about myself. And the other thing that helped was that you're so yourself. And I'd never worked with anybody like that came off of a chair and down to my level to be with me. And that's such a gift. I get your love so deeply. Thank you.
What a beautiful time. I'll hear from Diane. Do you want to say something? Diane's been here longer than me too for a long time.
Can you hear me without the mic?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Of course, we're in the
I've
same
heard
house.
many praises of Norma, and she has done a wonderful job. I was here before Donna when Unity almost disappeared again, and it was between ministers. A minister can make a huge difference. Ministers can make a huge difference to a church, and you all say that you just love and appreciate Norma. Show it. I challenge you to put your money where your heart is. Hey! Years ago here in Unity.
think about what was important to me. So I have, although I haven't had a lot, I'm always tired because unity is important to me. So if unity is important to you, show it. Give enough that we can pay Norma a decent salary. That's right.
There's one other person who we haven't thanked yet, who has been very important every week, Pamela, our food angel, who brings all those great with all the things that we've also brought, and we're going to have a wonderful time soon.
And Donna, don't forget Ed, who helps her back there too. Ed.
Those of you that were here through the years, you remember all the challenges we've had about food things, you know. And for several years, we had those great potlucks, but then it fell down for several years, and it's such an important part of our afterwards gathering. So when Pamela Joy came along to offer this a while back, it was a huge boon to our community building. So we can't thank you enough for being here faithfully and giving us food for our bodies.
I'm so glad to be able to be here and to be part of this.
And she needs money in the tip jar.
Yes. Food Angels is a wonderful project that she does in town. Thank you.
Yeah, I would like to thank Diane also. There's the, you know, we hear a lot about passing clipboards and set up and take down, and there's certain people who have been doing that for so many years and so many times and so many Sundays. The people that have done the most in that realm of making unity happen, I think, are Roy and Marge and Diane. And I know because I often don't put my names down on dates because I'm so unclear as to what and when I arrived, dealing with my granddaughter and myself and things like that. But I have done a lot of cleaning up afterwards and taking things down and putting things away and that kind of thing. And I know what it's like to be semi-invisible, especially when most people are gone. And I do see Donna out there with running the broom across. But you know, Diane has she's done the mostest anybody through all the years in that realm to help us. And that is, it's more than a tithe, you know. There's the money tithe, and that's very important, and what Diane said was very important, and there's the giving tithe in that way. I just need to acknowledge this incredible woman that's helped Unity function for so long. It's like we're part of her garden. She grows this incredible garden, Diane does, and she brings her garden to Unity. So it's pretty cool. And I need to say a couple words for myself. I, just in the personal reminiscing, I was on the leadership team for a while, and it was challenging for me, and I wanted to help so much. I wanted to help Unity. And it ended at one point when I became what I call a dragon. I had fire. I was a fire-breathing dragon. And one person in particular caught the fire. And it was interesting because Norma was trying to teach us about nonviolent communication that day. And whatever it was, I know what it was. I was going to bring up the particulars and recall the story. But I realized that there's nothing wrong with me being a dragon. part of the being part of my personality self is that I have things to give, and I have things to give in my way, but I figured out that the leadership team wasn't my way. So we all have ways. I also moved very clearly at that point into the focus of prayer, which is where I've been really all along, but from that day forward, that was my primary purpose. And the prayer circle and the prayer chaplains are just huge, huge, huge. And it's a place where the power that runs through me, that came out like a fire-breathing dragon that day, for those that may remember it, can run through in another kind of power. And I just want us to all realize that we all have gifts, and I appreciate being able to share the gift that I have of my power when I connect to Spirit. It's a personal thing for me, but it's also my service. And I love you, Norma. Thank you.
Kathy, Mary, and Diane shared is an important part of what our gratitude is all about, which is about service. And those of you, many of you that have done so many kinds of service that have kept us all going. But a lot of times it isn't visible. And today's the day, a day, and we want to have many more built-in days like this of really being thankful for all of you that are doing lots of things behind the scenes to make this all a go. And I've been playing a role where I'm not behind the scenes here. But for many years of my life, I've been behind the scenes in different situations. And just want to say that we all shapeshift into different roles at different times, don't we? We're called to different roles at different times. And I've found that we have to play many different roles throughout our lives. And so you're welcome here to experiment, like they were saying, with roles. That's what's really fun about it here, because you can come up here and do things up here. You can be in service roles in hidden ways that you might not have been before. There's lots of ways to experiment with roles that you're called to. And I think, like Thich Nhat Hanh says, that that's what we have to do, be in every different role that we can be in this lifetime. And that leads through to integration and something good. So I was going to read a list of thanks to many, many people. But many of those thanks have already been given, and our time is going along. And lots of times when you name individuals, you leave out somebody anyway. So rather than do that, we just want to acknowledge great gratitude for so many of you, and so many that aren't here, that have, through the years, not just in the last 9 years, but throughout the many years that this unity has existed, have kept it going. I found records that lead all the way back to 1976. And Kathy, you came along in 1986 when it was being revisioned by Colleen. But it was long before that it actually took place, as I look back through all the records this week. So it's been through many, many permutations through the years, and made me think about our lives, my life. I was counting up the years, since I started work, it's over 40 years, and many, many permutations we've all been through. And so we just honor that change and growth. And like Diane was beckoning you to, I'm 60 now, and I'm entering into these years when they say in Social Security it's really important how much money you make from 60 to 65. That's how much Social Security you'll get. It depends a lot on these 5 years. And so yes, I am thinking about what to do about that. I have to. And I want you to go into these visioning teams with me and come up with a great plan so that I can stay and make this work for all of us, So we're about to enter a new adventure, and it's exciting, and I've got great ideas for how that can happen, and I hope some of you do too. So let's close with a prayer of gratitude. And I just love for you all to touch somebody, get closer if you're not close enough, but to take the hands of the people next to you. This has been such a great time of pouring forth our heart's gratitude. So it's good to join our hands and our hearts in thanks. This day, this moment has been so much more than I ever could have planned for or imagined. My heart is burst wide open, and I'm sure yours is too. So we're here to thank one another, yes, but of course to thank Spirit. You know, we are spiritual beings living these human lives. We are somehow mysteriously one with you, our divine beloved. And all of the love that has been poured out here today is just a tiny, tiny fractal of the love that you have for us. We are overwhelmed. We are full and overflowing today with your love. We feel like a huge bouquet of roses in full bloom. And I know that that makes you happy. That you dance with us today, that you rejoice with us today, because we are realizing who we are in you. That we're receiving your love and taking it in and being your beloved. So on this day, when we feel so much abundance, gratitude in our hearts, we do remember all of those who do not have enough, who are afraid, and who are lonely, and who suffer in our community, in Medford, in this valley, and in this world. We can't help but want to pour out our love and this love upon those hearts. And so, Spirit, we desire, we pray, and we imagine that the abundance that we have felt here today would be shared. That as the Buddhists say, that the good that we've done here would be of benefit to all sentient beings. That fear could become love in this world. That the lonely would feel welcomed. And that the suffering would know rest and joy. We give great thanks for the labors and the love and the care that have given us the delights of this very day. And let's all together say a big thanks. Just say it out loud together. Thank you. Thank you. And for the nourishment of our spirit, for the challenges that strengthen us and the friends that we have on this journey of whom you're holding hands with. Let's just right now not say thanks, but let's sing out a thanks. Just in your most deep or beautiful voice, just thank you. And now for all of the gifts that are deep in our hearts that nobody even knows about. The gifts that get whispered in our ears. The gifts that happen in secret, like we're saying, are invisible, but that we know they're happening. Let's just whisper thanks. Thank you. Thank you. And then one last big giant shout of thanks for our overflowing hearts today. Let's just shout it out. Thank you! Thank you, Spirit. Let's move into our next circle now. We'll do our closing song together.
Okay, Marta?
Sorry.
I'm going to go up and sing.
And another person who gives so much is Jane, and she's going to lead us today.
Imagine there's no heaven.
It's easy if you try. No hell below us, above us only a sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion's true. Imagine all the people living life in the peace. You may say I'm a dreamer. Well, I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people living life in a peace. You may say I'm a dreamer. Well, I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us, and the world will be as one. You may say I'm a dreamer. Well, I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us, and the world will be as In this last moment of gratitude, I just want to bring along with Jane, I want to bring Donna Corso and Kathy Garrett, Canopy, and Donna Benjamin, and Mary Lou, and Marta. Oh, Martha's back there on the camera. Just to make one last moment of special thanks to these women right here, who this past year and a half or so have been the dream team. They've been the board members. And Mary Lou has been the treasurer, Kathy has been vice president, and Donna president, and Jane has been like the board assistant and my assistant, and Donna has been a member at large. And you can't believe all the work that goes on behind the scenes that these women carry forth and take leadership in. And Mary Lou, we're so grateful to you for stepping in, and Riney, we want to thank you for when you stepped in as treasurer, and Alan for when you stepped in as treasurer. And, it's a hard job, you know, and Mary Lou stepped in for it. And just really appreciate that, Mary Lou. And she's turning it over to Marta now. And so, Marta, thank you so much for stepping into that role. And so we'll be talking to you more about the board and the leadership team in the weeks to come. And just seeing these women up here, thank them afterwards for all the work that they've done. And along those lines, just shake hands with everybody here and thank everybody here, because each one of you has done something that has kept the spirit flowing in our midst. So I look forward to seeing lots of hugs and gratitudes going around as we have our wonderful potluck together. Here we go for lunch.